Okay, going back, let us have analytical method. So we have already the formula for the resultant, the summation, the square root of the summation of fx squared plus the summation of fy squared. So using the analytical method class, we will simply follow this equation right here. So if we have two or more forces, so you'll have to get the x components of all the forces and the y components of all the forces, so that you will get the summation of that, the algebraic sum of all the x components, and then the algebraic sum of all the y components, and follow this formula. Follow this formula that we have. So when I say algebraic sum, we will of course consider the sign convention here. So we could have positive or negative x and y components. So just take note that for the x components of the force, uh, going to the right, forces going to the right are positive, and going to the left, negative. And for the y components of the forces, positive going upwards, then going downwards is negative. So to illustrate that one, or to illustrate analytical method, let us have this one. Find the resultant, or we have to completely determine the resultant of this system of forces. We have a coplanar concurrent force system. So coplanar, so meaning to say that all the forces lie on the same plane, so it is not three-dimensional. And concurrent, meaning to say concurrent, they meet at a common point. So as you can see, they meet at a common point, which is the origin. So we have here four forces class. We have the 300-pound force, the 400-pound force, the 722-pound force, and the 200-pound force. So they're given also the angle, while some are given the slope. So there we have others na tay angle and then na po tay gitagaan og slope. So for this one, so again, following the formula for resultant, you have to get the x and y components of all the forces. So to solve, so this is how you will solve it. Okay, so we have the forces in pounds. So this is the unit of our force is in pounds. We have the x component, and then we have the y component there. Okay. So first, for the 300-pound force, the x component of the 300-pound force. Okay, let us try to solve. So how many? Okay, this is our 300-pound force. Ang iyahang x component, this one. Let us name this as our F1. So this is our F1x, and this is our F1y. So how do we get our F1x, this one? So katuwa lagi hapon no? So katuwa. So do not forget. So your trigonometry. So our F1x is actually F1, F1, or that is 300. Since our F1x is, as you can see, dara mag atong angle 30, no? So it is adjacent plus adjacent. Ang F1x is adjacent to the angle. So we will use cosine function. So cosine theta 30 degrees. Okay? While for the y component, this is our y component of F1. So So, atong y component, this one is opposite si angle 30. So, ang opposite, that is sine. So, f sine 30 degrees. So, 300 sine 30 degrees. So, both are positive. So, ang imuhang x positive since going to the right. Imuhang y is positive since it is going upwards. So, the x component nato is 259.81. If you try to solve that one, and 300 sine 30, that is positive 150. Okay. Next is, let us now solve for F2. So let us have this F2, the 400-pound force. So suppose this is our F2. So our F2, mao ni iyahang x component. So F2x, so mao po ni ang y niya. So y ni F2, so F2y. So how do we get F2x? So take note, our F2x is adjacent siya class, tapad sa angle 40 degrees. So kung tapad, adjacent gani, that is cosine. So that is F cosine the angle theta. F cosine 40. So 400 cosine 40. That should be negative. Negative because going to the left. While ang ato ang y, this is our y, right? Our y is F, kay opposite man siya sa angle, that is F sine theta. So our F is 400 sine theta, which is 40 degrees. So ang ato ang y class is pasaka siya, so positive ang y. So si x is to the left, so negative si x. So negative 306.42. Your y is 257 positive 0.1. Next, we have for the third force, the 722 pound force. Now, saan man siya class? Because we are not given the angle for this. Now, for forces which are not given an angle, instead you are given the slopes. This is how you solve it. Okay, I will show you how. So, can you see, suppose this one, aari lang ta. Suppose mo niya to ang force F, no? This is our y, this is our x, and then, naakay fx, and we have your fy. And then, wa ka gitagaan og angle, gitagaan ka og slope, which is c, a, b. So, mo niya itong slope. Say, for example, mo niya itong slope. Now, for this, we will use the concept of ratio and proportion class. Ratio and proportion. By ratio and proportion, we have fx is to a as f, diba f is this, is to c. So this is c, this is a, this is b. Mani ang slope. So f is to c. So that your fx is actually equal to the magnitude of the force F times A over C. No? Ayahang slope. So, si Fx imong gikuha, that is A over the hypotenuse C. Now, for Fy na sad, we have the ratio and proportion Fy is to be, tanawa ang figure, palihog, as force F is to C. So, Fy, therefore, is magnitude of F times B over C. So that is how you solve for the components when you are given the slope. So for this one, 722 times x man tong gikuha, no, x component. So dara 3 over square root of 13. Okay. Then the answer here should be negative, going to the left man. To ang x component of that 722 pound force. So that is negative 600.7 pounds. While for its y component, that is 722 times, nasama ito times, y component naman ta, y component, so itong i-multiply by 2 over square root of 13. So, this is your x, this is your y, which is pa down, so negative ang ato ang y component. That is negative 400.5. Okay. Lastly, we have the 200-pound force. Now, for the 200-pound force, we're also given the slope. Wala tayo angle, but we're given the slope. So, for the x component niya, we have this one. X component, this is its y component. So, that is 200. So, yung x component, our slope is this one. 4 over this. 4 over 5. While ang y, that is 200. So, may ito i-multiply. 3 over 5. Okay. So, our x should be positive since it's going to the right 160. And pa-down si y. So, negative 120. Okay, so we have now all the x components of the force and the y components of the force. So, we're going to do is to sum up, get the summation, algebraic sum. So, we will consider the signs. Is it positive plus negative 26 plus negative 600.7 plus positive 160. So, we get the summation of fx, or the summation of the x components of the force, which is, the answer here is negative. Kindly calculate 487.3 pounds. And then our summation of Fy, algebraic sum of all the y components of the force, is negative also 113.4 pounds. So, since negative man si x, so meaning to the left ni siya, no? Ang iyang direction is to the left niya. Kanin siya, since negative man si y, so pa down, to the left and downwards. So, if we try to get the picture of it, so para ma-picture out na to, let us try to draw it. So, ang ato ang x is negative. So, ari siya. Tingali negative dire. Nga mo down kag negative 103. So, mao niya to ang direction of the resultant. Butang tag this one. Makikita niya to ang resultant. So, let us try to find for the angle theta. So, mo niya ang iyang Rx. Tanta mo niya ang Rx, mo niya ito ang Ry. So, to get the direction, resultant pa dahil the magnitude of the resultant, no? Since we are to find the resultant R. Okay, continue solving. We have from this formula that we have, substitute values. So, resultant therefore is equal to summation of fx, which is negative 487.3 squared plus fy, negative 113.4 squared. So that the magnitude of the resultant is now 500, please calculate, 500.3 pounds. So, sa ato anang gi-illustrate, this is the resultant kana siya to diha. That is the magnitude niya kana. And then to get the angle, so let us try to solve for the angle. Tangent theta. Basta ito ng tangent theta, opposite. So this is, if this is our theta of the resultant r, opposite is ry over adjacent, which is rx. So arctangent, to get the angle theta, arctangent of ry over rx. So you get the theta now. 13.1. 13.1 degrees. So, okay. So that is now our final answer. I hope you're taking down notes. So as we go along our video, I hope you are also taking down notes so that you wouldn't have to visit the video online. Okay, so if we have this one, so we have discussed this one already. Rx is equal to the summation of the x and x components of the force, and ry is the summation of the y components of the force. So this one, if you have three-dimensional forces, so if you have already a z-axis, so spatial force or 3D, three-dimensional force na naka z component. So x component, y component, and the z component. So, muharap pong include ang z components of the force. So summation of the x components of the force squared plus the summation of the y components of the force plus the summation of the z components of the force. Okay, so let us have now the problems that we have in your handouts. Okay, let us try to solve. Sample problem number 1. Cross-country skiers skis 1 kilometers north and then 2 kilometers east on a horizontal snowfield. How far and in what direction is she from the starting point? So, pwede rin siya o Pythagorean actually. North. So 1 kilometer north. This is 1 kilometer. And then east, 2 kilometers. This is 1, 2. See, this is 2 kilometers. And then how far? So, gikan sa starting point up to here. So, actually, pwede ra siya Pythagorean, jud. Very easy. Let's just simply use Pythagorean. So, the resultant is the square root of x squared plus y squared. X squared, so yung x is 2 squared plus y squared, 1. Positive both, no? So, r is the square root of 5. 2.24 kilometers. Now, for the direction, suppose this one is angle. So, masolve na to first is this angle. If this is angle phi, tangent phi, opposite of the angle phi is 2 over the adjacent niya is 1. So, arc tangent phi, no, phi, this is phi. Angle phi, therefore, is arc tangent 2 over 1. So, you get the phi You have that one. Palihog ko. Solve. Okay. Now for the third. The answer is 63 point, andili pa niya siya mo. 63, unsa man yung 63.43? Now, 63 point, so in what direction is 63.43 class? So, kana si phi, dara mo ni siya si phi. So, phi is 63.43 degrees, that is east of north. Na? As you can see, east of north na siya class. Again, unsa ni siya? East of north. O maghisgot tag kani nga angle, if this is, may tang basihan nga angle, if this is angle theta, so angle theta is 90 degrees, diba? This is 90 degrees, this one. 90 degrees minus phi. So 90 degrees minus 63.43 degrees. So ang angle theta na to class is 26.6 degrees. So kani siya nga angle. Muna siya si 26.6 degrees. That is north of east. So north of east, magbase ka sa east, mo pa north ka og 26.6. No? Unsa to siya? This is north of east. So either of the two directions, kung kintahan ang imong answer 63.43 as long as gibutangan nimo siya ani east of north, so check na siya. Or if your answer is 26.6, so at least imong butangan north of east, that is also checked. So either of the two. Okay. Next problem, we have sample problem number 2. 3 players on a reality TV show are brought to the center of a large flat field. Each is given a meter stick, a compass, a calculator, a shovel, and the following 3 displacements: 72.4 meters, 32 degrees east of north; 57.3 meters, 36 degrees south of west; 17.8 meters straight north. The 3 displacements led to the point where the keys to a new Porsche are buried. 2 players start measuring immediately, but the winner first calculates where to go. What does she calculate? So, of course, we can already think that the winner calculated first the resultant of the 3 displacements. So, whatever is the resultant, so dito na siya largo ning dong. So, meaning the resultant ay gisolve niya ang x and y of the resultant, and then finally, na-solve niya ang magnitude of the resultant and the direction of the resultant. So, automatically, dito na siya ning dong. So, siya may first na or siya may winner. So, perhaps that's what happened. So, first, we're given the dimensions, the displacement. So, we must be able to draw, draw first the direction ani class. So I'll try my best. I really cannot draw a perfect vertical line. Okay. And then, so if this is our x, and then the y coordinate, 72.4 meters, 32 degrees east of north. So if this is north, east kuno sa north. So asa man si east dire? So kani. Sakto na ba na ang 32? Murag kulangan. So dinhi ang imong angle class is this. Si 32 degrees nimo east of north. So magbase ka ni north, mo pa east ka og 32 degrees. So this is your 32 degrees. And then this magnitude of this kani siya vector is 72.4 meters. Okay. Next, from there, 57.3 meters, 36 south of west. So, kay magkuha man tag resultant, kung ato ni siyang drawing on class, kung mag-use ta og graphical method, so this is what we should do. Next, 36 degrees south of west. So, asa man na siya? South ni west. So, si west, tira si west, right? Pa-south, mapa-south ka, this is your west. Mapa-south ka, balik 36 degrees. So, gikan diha, maus-us ka, balik 36. Pa-south man, so 36 degrees. So, I'm just showing you this because I want you to be able to plot on your own. No? You should be able to plot on your own. Since kung mag-use ka og analytical method, it is also important that you'll be able to determine which angle ang gimin sa ato ang given. So, say for example, 36 degrees na, niya waka kay bawo, asa man na si 36 degrees. Tingali kani mo hang gamiton, this is your 36 degrees in your illustration. So, wrong na ka in your diagram. So, 36 degrees, this is south of west man. So, west ka magbase class, then pa-south kuno ka og 36 degrees. And then this magnitude, this one is 50, this is your 57.3 as a vector. And then straight south, straight north. Hala, dili man siguro ni siya straight north. Oh my. No, Discord.